Hello and welcome to the Imperfect Tesla. If you're new to the channel, thank you, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back, and thank you also. Always good to have you guys, engaging with the content that is being put out. So if you're not subscribed, don't forget to do that. Subscribe, enable notifications so you are aware when new content is released. But today, talking about something different from your typical, my typical Tesla talks, and it looks like, well, not like it's obvious that electric vehicles are becoming a lot more widespread, more mainstream compared to a few years ago. Driving around town today, I probably saw, I've seen at least two or three different BMW EVs out there, the sedan, the SUVs. Of course, you've got EVs from Kia, from Hyundai. Basically, EVs are becoming the thing now. And of course, Mercedes has their own EQ lines out there too, and of course you've got Volvo / Polestar doing their thing. And so whenever I get a chance to explore other EVs, I think it's not a bad idea to see, just coming from a Tesla world, from just having the Tesla experience and Tesla being the main EV, full EV that has been on the market for, probably the most popular one on the market. Just kind of see what's working in these other ones that Tesla could benefit from, or vice versa too, And so today I want to talk about the Mercedes Benz EQS sedan. This is going to be specifically for the 450 model, which I believe is the base model of the EQS sedan. And a few weeks ago, I got a chance to look at the car, explore it. I've seen it before, like in showrooms, you get to look around, but it wasn't like turned on. You didn't do a test drive, didn't get a chance to like see other features. But this time around, I got to look at it, see all the features, and take some time with it. Now, I'm going to also start by prefacing this. This is not an EQS review. I'm not doing a review of the Mercedes Benz EQS. So just want to level set. This is not a proper video, a review video. It's not a proper comparison. We're just talking about another EV and what it has, right? So this is the Mercedes Benz EQS 450. Again, I believe this is the base model. You've got the base where you've got the instrument cluster, and then the little, I forgot what the size is of the screen, and you've got ones that have like hyper screen where the whole front is all screen. So this is the base, right? And so I think, one, it's a Mercedes, so it definitely looks good to begin with, right? So just looking at a car, backing up here, you can, I like, first thing I like about it is, I like the lighting in the back. You've got that, red line, the brake light. It's not brake light here, but you've got the line all the way. It's just nice, it's a nice, good use of the space, and you've got the different lines on the side. It looks good. Shape-wise, it's got like this kind of an egg type shape. It's different. It's not your regular square lines. Of course, all those curves are meant to improve aerodynamics and everything, which also makes it a little more efficient. But it's just got that interesting, shape. I will also say the EQS is not comparable to a Model 3 or Model Y. I think the proper comparison to an EQS is the Tesla Model S. Size and price wise, which I think now the Model S might actually be even cheaper than the EQS, but size wise it's more of a Model S competitor. But like I said, the car first glance the car looks good. I think Mercedes-Benz did a really good job there. The rear badge tilts in to reveal the rear view camera when you're backing up, which I thought was nice. And then it's the same logo that is the trunk or hatchback opener, because this is a hatchback just like the Model S. So moving into the interior, like I said, I got a chance to drive it a little bit. It's like I said before, it has an instrument cluster type view like you have in the Model S and the X. In some cases it's built into the dash. In some cases in this model here it's kind of like floating in there, and you've got a visualization like you have like in a regular Teslas where you see the cars around you and everything. I thought that was pretty neat. The instrument cluster is customizable. You can change the background of it, and it's pretty nice. I mean, it's functional. You've got the center console screen in there too, where everything is there. They also did away with buttons a little bit. A lot of things are now on the screen, temperature controls. So I'll get more into the screen later, but then going into like the space wise, very spacious. I mean, this front seat is all the way back, and I'm in the back. I'm 6'1", and I've got lots of space still left there still. You've got a USB-C port in the back for the rear passengers. Of course, it's leather all through. You've got the sunroof and everything. It's got like the Model 3 type thing where there's a break in between the front and the rear, and then the sunroof shade opens on both sides. It's also nice, it's a Mercedes Benz. Mercedes Benz and interior lighting, they always go hard with their interior lighting. So you see the LED lines in there from the front all the way to the back. All the seats have pillows in them, and of course you can see all the way through in the trunk. And so I thought that it was interesting too that there's a start-stop button. Of course in the Teslas, you just get in there, and as long as you have your key card or you have your phone in proximity, foot on the brake, drive, go. In this case, there is a physical start-stop button that you have to push to start, and then you press the same button to turn it off. And buttons wise too, like I said, there's a few less buttons, but the steering wheel has a lot of buttons. Compared to what you have in the Teslas. In the Model 3, Model Y, the only button you have on the steering wheel is a scroll wheel that clicks. In the refreshed S and X, you have more buttons on the steering wheel for your signal, horn, and lights. But in the Mercedes Benz, it's a lot of setting your distance and cruise control and volume and voice. It's a lot of buttons on the steering wheel, which nothing wrong with that. It's just if you've been in the Tesla world for some time and you're coming to this, it might just be like, okay, so many buttons. The sunshade, it's all touch control. You swipe to open, swipe to close it. Pretty neat. I mentioned key fob. So there's a key fob here, which is, I know the Model S and X have key fobs also, but it's not something that you need to have on you to operate the car. In this case, you need to have the key fob to operate the car. So that's something that probably could do away with. Just one less thing to put in your pocket or your bag or lose. One more interesting thing too that I found with this wheel is the wheel cover, the hubcap. It's plastic. It looks really nice. It's a bunch of tiny Mercedes-Benz logos, and it looks nice. But I realized that it's all plastic, and so you can see I'm pressing here, and it's giving a little bit. And my concern with that is, what would happen if you were to hit a pothole or something flies off the road and hits that hubcap? It's liable to, break. And so might be just one more thing to consider if you're going to have this here is like you might need to think about expenses for replacing the hubcaps. The windows are frameless, just like we have in the Teslas too, so it's just glass and no frames. The car looks pretty long. I mean, I wouldn't say it's longer than a regular car, but it looks long. Like I said, it's got that shape, it curves in the front, everything in the back. They've got the grille. It's a good looking car. I like that the turn signal lights are integrated in the mirror. I feel like that's something that I always like it, because I feel like it makes it a little more visible when you're turning that yes, this person is turning. Of course, your handles also are retractable. They go in when you close the door. Something that's interesting here is this rear bumper. There's a bumper there, technically, and it is another bulge that's sticking out, and I was told it's because there's no proper bumper, and so by law they have to have something, and that's what that bump is for. As I mentioned earlier too, your logo is what you press to open the trunk or the hatch. You've got your charging. It's CCS enabled, which I think most of all the other EVs beside Tesla already have. In place already is having the CCS capable charging ports, unlike Tesla where it's just Tesla US, that is anyway, that is just the Tesla connector. But overall, really good looking car. One thing that I think Mercedes missed here is the Frunk. This car has a huge front facade, like that hood is long, but it does not open. The only opening in the front is this windshield washer thing, and it's on the side. So you want to put windshield washer fluid in it, you open on the side, and which you can see it's even, took me a while to figure out how to open it, and that's where it goes. The front is just a huge flat hood. There's nowhere, there's no opening in it. So I'm not sure what else is under there that is not making them make use of that space. But I think that was that's a waste of space, because I mean, you could definitely do something with that huge hood to make it have a frunk. One thing that's really cool about this car is at night. At night, it looks really nice. I mean, all the door handles light up, and you get a glimpse there of what happened with the lights there. I'll talk about that a little bit more in the bit here, but it's a lot of lights in this car. Of course, you've got your ambient lights in the footwells and everywhere else, your puddle lights, your handle lights, but the LED accents in it, it's a lot. But real quick too, you've got USB-C ports. There's 2 in the center console there. There's 2 more in the front center console, 2 more in the center console, 2 more in the rear. So at least 6 USB-C ports. And this screen here, so let's talk about the screen here a little bit. For the screen, you have to turn it on too. I think it comes on if you touch it, but it's interesting that you can't do anything with the control if you don't press the start button. So I mentioned earlier in the beginning, you have to press the start button to get things going. So even though I'm in the car, I've got the key in there, I couldn't do anything on the screen besides the screen loaded up, but I couldn't do anything like turn on the AC until I press that start button, and then the car comes on, then I can do everything else. Now, one thing that's really cool here is when you turn the car on, you get a really nice, you can see outside and inside, you get a really nice light show. The headlights do a dance, the interior D lights do a thing, which I think it's pretty cool. Lots of LED lighting in here, like in the panel up top, all in front of you. There's like in the front dash, in the door panels in 2 places, even in the air vents too. In the air vents, you've got LED lighting in there, so it's a lot of light, which not a bad thing. But again, if you're used to coming from the Tesla where you don't have much lights in there except like your footwell ambient lights, unless you do interior lighting, you don't have much lights to really contend with. And so just coming in here was just like, okay, it's just lots of lights. And so one thing with this screen that I think Mercedes Benz could use here is trying to simplify things a little bit more. It was a lot of having to click around to get to different things. In Teslas, you've got your main menu icon. You hit that menu icon and everything shows up for you. You can go to service, do car wash mode like they have in here too, which is pretty nice. But for in here, there was no, there's like that's menus and menus and menus, and you don't have that little flow. Like in Tesla, you can be 3 steps deep in one menu item. I can simply go on the left side and click lights, and boom, you're on the light setting. You can go to safety, you're in that settings. You can go to navigation and in there, and so anything you're doing, you can always come back to anything on that main screen. In here, you gotta like go back and go home, then choose what you want to do. Then in there's sub menus, and so like the screen changes every time you choose a new menu item. And I feel like that could be a lot of steps, especially if you're like driving and you need to do something real quick, like you don't want to change drive modes real quick. They do have buttons for drive mode, so maybe that's not a good example. If you're driving and want to change something, and it's like you have to go click this button, the screen changes, then click on that button, the screen changes to get to that, and it's like it makes it less flowy, and I feel like it adds more work trying to get to certain things, which again, not saying it's a bad thing. I just feel something that could be probably improved on just to make it a little bit easier for the user. It's just having to click so many times to get to different things, and screens always changing every time, and you don't have that reference of, okay, how do I want to get back here just quickly. But overall, like I said, I think it's pretty nice. I was mentioning earlier too, you can change the view of your instrument panel, so you can change, like right now it's like that. You have that mountain background. You can change some kind of a sporty background. With that shows you different things. You can make it be minimal, be classic, show navigation. So that's how you can customize the view of the instrument panel, and pretty cool. One of the features that I thought was different here too was they have the the seat heater and ventilation. It's built into the door panel. So like, of course, in Teslas, it's all part of the screen and everything. It just goes again to more buttons. You already have buttons for the memory seat. So if you don't have buttons on your doors like a Tesla, something to get used to here. Now, one thing that's really cool, let's talk about the light sequences on this car. When you shut down your startup, so when you just saw it there, it was like some kind of rain effect, which is what when you shut down. When you start the car up, the lights come on and they do like this spread, just kind of run back and forth real quick, and then they level off, and nothing too major, but it's kind of nice. And when you turn the car off, you get this little drizzle rain or water running down the glass type effect. And I think that was just pretty cool. Again, doesn't add to the car in anywhere there, but just one of those nice things to have. And that's something that I think Tesla could probably take advantage of. Can you leverage or take a play out of that book from Mercedes, where you already have light shows in Tesla, so you can definitely make the light sequence do something when you start the car or you get out of the car, right? Just something that's cool. And then it's got voice assistant also. It's like, hey Google, but I think here you say hey Mercedes. And when you say hey Mercedes, the lights around on the driver's side of the panel, they light up blue and they kind of pulse, letting you know it's listening to you. And I thought that was nice. I think having that built into Mercedes, I think just works. It works. And so we're just over here trying to play with it. So you can see the ambient light, those interior lights, they've now been set to green. So we're trying to use the voice assistant to set it to blue, and you can see it's pulsing as it's reading in the voice commands. And then once it's taken that command and it's processed it, you see the lights change to blue right there. And so it's pretty neat that the voice assistant works pretty good. One more thing that I think Mercedes missed here too is it's got space in the back, yes, but I feel there's no sub trunk. So just like there's no Frunk, there is no proper sub trunk. It's a very small one. I feel like there's an opportunity to put a sub trunk in there too, but so no Frunk, no sub trunk. But overall, like I said, really nice car. Really nice car. I might going to switch to it anytime soon. Probably not. For me, I personally like the height of SUV type car or crossover car. So I'm still trying to get myself into, okay, can I do a sedan again or not? But for this car, if you are in the market for like a between an S and an EQS, I think it's a very formidable option. I don't like, so in that note, then I want to do some quick talk about like some high level hits and misses, and I'm going to pull up my notes over here. So what I think is a hit, again, this is probably just me being extra. I like the light sequence at the beginning. When you start the car and shut it off, I like the light sequence. It's just something there. It's a Mercedes Benz, like I mentioned before. It's comfortable. It's proper leather, all through and through. The ride is comfortable. The interior design is also pretty nice. I like the LED lighting. I think it's a lot, but I like that you have that option in there, front and the back. Lots of USB ports. Don't know if I need all of those, but lots of space in interior too. But I also feel that there's some misses. One of them is you don't have the Frunk. You don't have a proper sub trunk. That's, I think that's a huge miss over there. We're trying to increase storage space. And then I forgot to mention this earlier too, but driving the car, it took me a while to get used to the one pedal driving in the EQS. It does have one pedal driving and you can adjust how much you want it to be, but I had to use the brake every time to get to the final stop. Like it was, the hold was not holding. It will hold when you stop, but getting to that stop, is where it was not you had to use the brake to get to that final stop. So maybe there was a setting that we need to mess with to get it to work like a true fully one pedal driving type thing, but I did not like that it wasn't doing that. Besides that, I don't think there's too much misses. I feel like Tesla could take a few things from Mercedes playbook. One is, of course, comfort. Not saying it's bad right now, but and then just finishing quality. Everybody all knows that there's the Tesla quality issues type thing. Again, the point of this video is not to compare one against the other or say which is better or which is worse or do a review. It's just showing you what others are doing in their EVs. Oh, one more big miss that I think, and this is not just a Mercedes Benz thing, I think it's mostly in all the other EVs. Lack of entertainment options. Yes, you have your media stuff, your radio, your Sirius XM, but there's no theater like Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, YouTube. There's no games like you have in a Tesla, which some people might argue, well, you don't have to have that. Those things come in handy when you are at a supercharger charging, on a road trip, or you went to the store. Somebody wasn't in the store, you're in the car, and you're just, catching up on YouTube or whatever, or just playing a game just to kill time instead of being on your phone. Again, not a do or die, not a make or break thing, but it's just one of those things where that could be really, really cool. But that's what we got going on today. So if you've enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and then we'll see you next time.